As I look to the horizon, not a cloud, but then storming weather's go too cold. Seems like it crept up out of nowhere, all around you is not what you foretold. You never see it coming. You see that my mind is too fast for eyes. You're done, but the time it hit you, you're not surprised.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys are all doing well. We are here with Mr. Huffstuffs, or Mr. Stuffs as I like to call him, Dspgaming. Not sorry over tweet. Now, as you guys know, this is more of the kind of aftermath / damage control that kind of comes with Phil coming back on stream yesterday. I'm currently recording this on the Friday the 18th. As you guys know, he made his triumphant return on the 17th. 2-hour long pre-stream. I wanted initially, I mean, if you guys saw my first video, I had called that, and I didn't, not with the expectation that I thought he would actually do it, but called it nonetheless. 2-hour long pre-stream. I got to watch a little bit of that this morning. It was long and drawn out, just kind of like how I expected. It looked like he was going to avoid talking about the whole Twitter situation altogether. It really looked like he was kind of, you know, taking that path. And eventually, some troll cheers ended up making him change his mind, which was a good thing. It was something that he kind of needed to address. Yet again, he made himself seem like he was the victim, though he did try, and I use that term loosely, try to take some responsibility, saying that he messed up, so on and so forth. He also said that, what did he say? He said that, every time I make a tweet, I automatically expect for it to be private or to go only to people who follow him, which then maybe he should put that as a settings, I would guess. But in any case, he feels that people who actually know who he is, people in his hardcore fan base, understood what he was trying to say. It's all the other people who listen to all this false information about him, and those people who hate him, who hyped it all up and made it what it was. Good job, Phil, for being a man and stepping up to the plate when it comes to stuff. In any case, let's get to the video, and we'll see what comes out of it. If it's worthwhile or not, it is what it is. And we'll just go from there. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on at GTG Network and Productions. You guys all know the slogan. Phil's time to watch me work.
Lincoln Simpson did a cheer. He said everything will be okay, Philip. Don't worry. You know, I hope so. Like I said, sadly, I am an idiot sometimes. I make really ridiculously stupid mistakes. Like any human, sadly, my mistakes are broadcast to a worldwide audience, even though I don't have a worldwide giant, audience of people who watch my streams or videos on YouTube anymore, really. Let's be real here. Yes, do I have a lot of people who watch? Yes. Anywhere near what it used to be? No. But I get the negativity coverage. If I do something nice or positive, no one cares. But if I do something...
Let me cut in for just a second. Yet again, we are here with Mr. Stuffs, Dspgaming, not sorry over tweet. And to continue off that, when's the last time you did something nice for somebody, Phil? Just out of curiosity. And don't bring up that charity situation, because you've been broke for a little while now. So obviously charity is kind of out of your realm. So when was the last time you did something nice for somebody? Seriously, we want to know.
Something, stupid, boneheaded, terrible, or dumb, immediately the entire internet knows. And it sucks, because then it's like, all right, now we got to deal with days of crap until we can finally get back to business as usual and normal life, Luckily, like I said, I'm hoping everything will go smoothly here. We'll be able to just come back positively from this time away and, just be normal. As you guys know, the streams have been fun and great recently. There's been no kind of negative shit or anything on the streams, and I want to keep it that way. But it is what it is. If I lose my ability to stream, it is what it is, guys.
Now, this is something that I also saw. I actually saw on I guess Tevin's stream last night, and just something that's kind of just been floating around a little bit, that Phil thinks he's going to be possibly suspended for this. And I had said that it was a possibility in yesterday's video, or on yesterday's broadcast, however you want to word it. I had said that was a possibility, but it's obviously haven't done anything to him. What's going to happen is going to be slow burn, in my personal opinion. To go ahead and suspend him again is kind of the easy way out. It's Twitch trying to stay face, right? You know what I mean? We've seen that the first 2 times. And each time he keeps doing something to go ahead and get himself kicked off. It's amazing how he does this. But this time around, it's slow burn. And the reason why, and what I mean by that is, instead of publicly suspending him again and then letting Phil come up with all these excuses, because right now it sounds like he's trying to be a man about it, trying, and being like, oh, I messed up, I'll take my lumps, and, you know, eventually I'll end up getting to come back. If they slow burn him instead, you slowly but surely take his protection from him. Slowly but surely, people who have more influence than he does will go ahead and bring up their concerns to the people that they have, their contacts at Twitch. Now, do I expect a tidal wave of big streamers going to Twitch's upper management and being like, hey, what's the deal with this? No. Do I think some people did do it? Yeah, I think so. I don't know for sure, but if I had to guess, I'd say it's fair that at least a couple of people were like, who the hell is this guy? And looking at his background and his track record, how come he's still allowed to not only be on our platform, but still have a partnership deal with you guys, while some of us are being disciplined for the most minimum infractions and losing everything? Which is a good question, to be perfectly honest with you. It's something that, as I've said in yesterday's video, it's a Gundam, and Almighty Tevin had brought up on how Twitch's rules and regulations are enforced, and who falls under that category. You know what I mean? Like, who actually catches the more severe charges or infractions over others. It's a conversation that I would guess Twitch doesn't want to bring up. But if the right people and the right amount of people decide to go ahead and bring this concern to Twitch, you might actually get some answers. Just something to think about. As for Phil, it seems like, at least from what I saw this morning, he was a bit on eggshells in the fact that he was trying to act like nothing was a big deal. He was letting certain things kind of fly by as it pertains to troll cheers or whatever the case may be, because he's legitimately worried, and he should be. But then again, Phil, this is why you have to think before you act. Seriously. You should think before you do things. And that's what hurts you. Someone had said it in my comment section last night that, there are plenty of people in his comment section, on his forums, on his chats. Well, his comment section is gone for the most part. But on his forums and in his stream chat, who tried to give him good advice, and he either dismissed it or you get banned. I mean, then stop helping him. You don't owe him anything. And if he can't do for self, then let him sink, because obviously he doesn't appreciate the help that you as his community give to him. So then let the man sink. How long are you going to continue to carry him? And then to Swaggins, I mean, what you do with your money is on you, man. But I mean, don't you want to go to college? Don't you want to own a car? Don't you want to buy a house one day? Don't you want to have something? You know what I mean? Like, what do you get out of helping Phil? And in truth, I don't even think you're trying to help Phil. I think you're just trying to break Brightside Vikings records. I think that's really all Swaggins really gives a shit about. He gets a little buzz off the power that he has, if you want to call it power, but essentially he's trying to chase down Brightside Vikings records. That's all he gives a shit about. You don't have nothing else better to do, man? With your time or your money? What are you going to do?
Much I could do about it. I mean, I'll be real with you. Yes, I'm worried about it. Obviously, it's a huge thing. It's a big part of my income. I make more money on Twitch than I do on YouTube. So if I can't stream on Twitch, that's pretty much a huge blow, and I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills. Real talk. It could be hugely crippling to the point where that's it. Then I have to decide what I'm going to do when it comes to moving forward, because I can't do this anymore. I don't know. It's going to be terrible. So we'll see what happens. I hope nothing happens. I've heard nothing to any effect that anything is going to happen. It doesn't mean that it won't. because things happen behind the scenes, and it is what it is. But thank you, Lincoln Simpson, for the support.
All right, let me cut in real fast. Another thing that I had noticed after he came off of his second suspension, right? I called it devil's luck. You can call it whatever you really want to call it, but how this guy keeps dodging bullets is, the real heavy bullets. I'm talking about ones to vital areas. How he keeps ducking and dodging, I'll never know. I'll never know how he gets away with what he gets away with. There's nobody that can be this fortunate. There's nobody that can be this lucky to sit there and do what he's done, from his racism to his just overall bad behavior to his just thoughtlessness as it pertains to the situation with friends and family and so on and so forth, and to still, I wouldn't say thrive, that's not the word for it, but to continue, to be honest with you. Like, let's put it this way. If Phil Burnell started YouTube in 2017 or in 2018 and tried the same shenanigans that he did back then, now he'd be gone in a heartbeat. And he stands on this whole 10-year legacy thing and whatnot. And I've been thinking about this a little bit lately, how he stands on this 10-year legacy situation as if it's like a shield for him in a lot of ways, right? And in truth, this is a question that I pose to anybody who's listening to this. Is that what that is? Is it that Phil, because we've all called Phil like a dinosaur or a relic or whatever the case may be, but is it possible that that's what Phil is? That Phil is a relic, and because of that status, it exempts him from certain things. Is it the reason why he's gotten away with certain stuff for as long as he has? Now, don't get me wrong, he's taken his lumps, machinima, losing his friends, this, that, and the third, being suspended twice off Twitch, so on and so forth. But he hasn't been hit with the blow that would force him to actually grow up and actually do something for self. He hasn't been hit with that yet. Somehow he finds a way to kind of weave himself out of it, or he finds people who are willing to pull him out of it. You know what I mean? Like, when you really sit back and think about all the situations Phil has been in just this year. You can go on Twitter. There are plenty of people who have posts on it, or Kiwi Farms. Take a look at just what he's gone through this year. And how would the average person do that? And then it goes back to this whole exception to the rules type situation that he likes to bring up a lot. I'm the exception. I'm the lucky one. This, that, and the third. What the hell did you do, Phil? You sold your soul for this? Is this what you thought success was? Just something to think about. Like, I really want you to just take a minute to kind of let that marinate and give me your thoughts on that. On how he's able to get away with what he's able to get away with, and for so long. And I can't say very little repercussions, or even minimum, but just how does he keep doing it? Just how does he just keep getting himself out of the jam? You know what I mean? He's gonna always be in the frying pan, right? But he hasn't burned yet. You know what I mean? Like that bacon grease just hasn't heated up hot enough to burn the bacon on him yet. At least not fully. Something to think about. DSP News.
So shout out to the Lollipop, who cheers at first year here. I hope the stream will be positive and things will return as normal. It will be by the power of Selsun Blue. Thank you, Lollipop. And you cheered again. Yeah, it's a good thing you apologize for what you said on Twitter. It's the right, mature thing to do, and some people are happy that you did. Others, of course, will still shit on you. People don't understand that you're just human. Now, what it is this. It's very simple. I'm someone who there has been crazy amounts of negativity about for years, and most people only know about me from the negativity. So when they hear, oh, this guy who's known for these negative things did something else negative, they just shit, and they throw their shit at me, okay? And I get that. It's just a shame that I've been around for 10 years. There's been how many, crazy positive things that I've done. I'm one of, if not the most prolific gaming YouTuber there is. Yet, no one knows that. They only know...
Well, like I said, what good things have you done? And then to be the most prolific, I wouldn't even say that, to be honest with you, you've put out more. I wouldn't say give credit, but let's state what's facts. He's put out more material than anybody. Well, maybe not anybody, but maybe anybody in gaming. He's put out way more material than anybody. Then again, from a fighting game standpoint, if you were putting each and every individual match up, it's going to rack up. You know what I'm saying? It's going to stack up over some time. If you're drawing out your playthroughs into the hundreds, not 100, into the hundreds, yeah, you're gonna, and you do it year in, year out, yeah, it's gonna stack up. How many games does Phil play a year? Let's think about that for a minute. How many games does Phil play a year? He plays, if I had to be honest with you, I guess at any given time, Phil's playing 2 or 3 games at a time. So, I couldn't tell you exactly how many, but let's say, for example, for the sake of argument, let's say he plays 10 to 12 games a year. Okay. Out of those 10 or 12 games, and keep in mind, out of those 10 or 12 games, he's probably going to rage quit 6 to 8 of those. But that's neither here nor there. Let me stay on point here with this. Excuse me. Out of his 10 to 12 games, each one of those games, he's probably going to get 200 plus parts out of it. Out of each game. Think about that. That's insane. That's an insane amount of videos that's being pumped out on the internet. And then he talks about ad revenue being down. Nah, views are down. There's way too much material to watch. But that's nothing to stand on, though, Phil. That doesn't make you prolific. It makes you an asshole, to be honest with you. And then at the end of the day, right, if you really, really think about it, I can't remember if I was talking to was it Raven I was talking to on Twitter about this, or was it Cookie Monster? I can't remember which one of you guys I was speaking to. It was one of you guys, I know for sure. Maybe it might have been Jackal's Lair. Shouts out to all 3 of y'all, by the way, man. I hope you guys are doing all right. Shouts out to everybody, really, but shouts out to you 3 though, for sure. I can't remember who I was speaking to about it, but in truth, he's cheating himself. Phil cheats himself doing things the way he does it. If you really, really think about it, because for the fan or for the viewer, you can avoid all that. You don't have to watch all the playthroughs. You can watch the first couple episodes. You can watch maybe a couple of them in the middle, and then you just watch the last 3 or 4 episodes at the end, and then you're done. Or you can scratch all of that, and if you have the opportunity, then just watch them on Twitch. And that's it. So for the viewer, there are workarounds to kind of avoiding the tidal wave of just dead air that he produces. But for Phil, what is that? It's nickeling and diming. His videos don't do shit. You know what I mean? He's not averaging 1,000 plus views on those playthroughs. 2,000, 5,000, 7,000. It's not about ad revenue anymore as much as he doesn't have the viewership. He just doesn't. So you kind of see where I'm coming from in the fact that he hurts himself. For him, he thinks it's routine and he's kind of set in his ways, so he thinks it's easy. But in truth, that's what's hurt him. And even with the pre-streams being deleted and so on and so forth, eventually his viewership was going to go into a decline. Eventually he was going to get to where he is now. And eventually the detractors and the haters and the trolls were going to overtake him. Even people in Phil's own fan base watch detractor videos. What was he going to do? He was going to lose regardless, is the point I'm trying to make.
The negative. It sucks. They don't want to hear the positive. They just hear the negative, 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 and that's what they become all about, right? So, sometimes it's my fault, sometimes it's not. In this particular case, it is my fault. I own up to it. I'm an idiot, and I did something very stupid. I made this dumb tweet on Twitter. It blew up. It's annoying that it did because, obviously, I read back the tweet hours later. I'm like, I didn't mean to fucking say it like that. That's just reading it back, I'm like, that is stupid. That is not even close to the message that I wanted to portray. So it is what it is. You gotta live it. You gotta live with your responsibility for stupid shit you do. At least, I was able to go out there and say, you know what, I didn't mean to say it like that. That's definitely not my overall feeling about anything. But it is.
The thing is, though, is I feel like he's said that on stream and he said that in videos before. Now I understand, and to a degree, I respect people who are trying to give Phil the benefit of the doubt. Don't be wrong; they still think Phil's an asshole, but there's a growing number of people who are looking at what Phil said and are realizing, okay, he may have not have meant to articulate it the way he did. Okay? And so let's give him the benefit of the doubt for just a second. I know that's something that might seem unusual for me, but we're trying. You know what I'm saying? You should try to grow. You should try to grow each day as you move forward. You know what I'm saying? You should try to be the best person you can be. And I guess if you're doing videos, you should try to bring the best quality if possible. If it's within your realm, if it's within your means and whatnot. Since my videos consist of really just me talking, let's try to give Phil the benefit of the doubt here for just a second. Let's say that Phil did not mean for it to come out the way he did. Let's say that the djinn was talking for him and it got the best of him, and then that was the case. I'm still kind of erring on the side that he knew what he was doing, and he was probably drunk, or he was definitely hungover, he was pissed off, and he put out what he put out. That's still kind of firmly where I'm going to stand on. But let's say that he didn't mean to do that way. Fair enough. Now, the argument is, oh, well, why did he let it dwell for 6 hours? Okay, let's say he didn't mean to do it. Let's say he was riled up. He didn't mean it for it to come out that way. And the reason why he let it go for 6 hours is because he was probably propped over on the couch. You know what I mean? Cat probably had to throw a blanket over his ass. Probably had to put a pillow under his head to make sure he didn't swallow, choke on his own visceral vomit and whatnot, basically save his damn life. And he passed out for a while. Let's say that. So let's just give him credit that he just wasn't in the right state of mind. In any particular case, yeah, Phil, you have a history of saying stuff like this. And that's what makes it, I think, harder for people to give you the benefit of the doubt. Because you have a history of saying this stuff. This isn't some type of crazy manipulation. This isn't the genius of a Snorpernell who's going in and just kind of memeing up your stuff. You know what I mean? Yet again, you know what I mean? This is all you. Just like any Snorpernell video, really. To be honest with you, it's Snorpernell putting out what you say and just add some extra to it to make it sound funny. But that's more aesthetics more than anything else. You know what I'm saying? The manipulation of what you say is not what Snorpernell does. And so why you have so much problems against Snorpernell, for example, is kind of fascinating. But we'll get into that another time and date. But you have a history of saying stuff like this. You know what I mean? You have history of doing tweets like this to some degree. Certainly not to what this particular tweet was. But you do have a history of things like this. So it makes it harder for people to kind of give you the benefit of the doubt. People are trying, though. And I can understand why. Kinda. I can kind of understand why people want to give you the benefit of the doubt. And I certainly don't fault anybody for doing it. At the same time, you'll do it again. Mark my words, you'll do it again. And you know I'm right, Phil. You know I'm right. You'll do it again. As soon as you think this thing breezes over for a little bit, because I don't know if he's kind of trying to lay low off Twitter for right now, but as soon as the dust kind of settles completely and whatnot, where people just aren't thinking about you anymore, even though it's not really going to happen that way. You're on people's radar now. People know who to look out for. They've heard of you. Now they've seen this silly shit. Now it gives them probable cause, in a lot of ways, to go and actually look you up. And in doing so, everything that is you will eventually come to light. It's just how this works. But in any case, people want to give you the benefit of the doubt, so be it. But you'll do this again. Mark my words, you'll do it again. I guarantee it in the same way that it's going to rain again. That it's going to snow again. That the sun's going to rise again. You'll do it again. It's in your nature. You can't change who you are, Phil. And I know that's kind of it's a meme and it's funny, but real talk though, you can't change who you are. And that's the thing that you keep wrestling with. That you can't accept that all the hatred and all this, that, and third that follows you is you. It's of your own doing. It's of your own making. And you can't escape it. You don't know how. And instead of reaching out for help, which, surprisingly enough, there's a surprising amount of people who are willing to help you. I dare say, with even in the detractor community, if you were willing to make some apologies and make some concessions, you would have probably people here that'd be willing to help you. But you won't do that, though, will you, Phil? You're too good for them. You've been around too long. You've been on top once. And part of you still believes that you can still get there. You just think if the hatred and all the trolling and everything dies down, you can make that climb back up. You can't fight who you are, Phil. You really can't. The sooner you accept that, then the sooner you accept that, it'll actually limit the opportunities like this Twitter situation to happen. Because you'll have a better understanding of oneself. The more you keep fighting it, the more you'll lash out. The more you lash out, the more dumb things like this will happen. And then even the very people who want to give you the benefit of the doubt will have to look at you and realize what I'm saying right now. You can't escape who you are. This is what it is. But time will tell. And even if I'm not around for it, I don't have to be. There'll be others that will. The next group of detractors and haters who pop up almost every day will see it. And they'll call you out on it too. It's not a matter of who says it to you first. That's incidental. It's just a matter of when you decide to do it. DSP News.
This is what it is, right? Shout out to Vulcan, who cheered and said, "What's up with that tweet, Phil?" I already explained. I'm not going to go on. Here's the best explanation I can give you guys, all right, of why on earth would I have done that stupid tweet. Because I want to get this out of the way so we can just move on. And I have a very matter-of-fact way that I can explain it to all of you. And I know a lot of you on pre-stream, who are sitting here artificially, inflated the stream numbers and everything to hear me talk about this. In a nutshell, here's how I can explain it, all right? It's very simple. I'm stupid to the point where I think that I'm going to tweet something publicly, and it's only going to go to my viewers who understand me and the frame of reference and the context, okay? That is incredibly dumb, but for some reason, I keep thinking this. So I'll tweet something that is incredibly, abridged, incredibly not fleshed out, basically just the snippet of a full thought. But I'll tweet that thinking, well, the people who follow me on Twitter know me, they watch my streams, they understand the situation, right? And they're going to get it. They're going to know what I mean. And I tweet that out, and the next thing I know, people are like, what are you talking about? What's this? What's that? Ah, fuck. I did it again. And it's been a while since I did something stupid like that, okay? In fact, it was hilarious because someone actually quoted, I guess sometime in 2014, when I did exactly the same thing at that time. And I said, man, why am I trying to relay these kind of ideas on Twitter, where there's no way I could flesh it out. This is stupid. And he's like, I guess you didn't learn. You know what? I guess you're right. I guess I'm still stupid. I mean, it's just stupidity. Why am I doing that? You guys here, all right, who are here on the streams, who have been here on the streams, have heard me very, very much in detail flesh out my opinion on early release copies, people getting advanced access, elite selection, preferential treatment to get games early and play them on stream for profit, which is what I was actually referencing in the tweet and did not properly say at all in the tweet, right? You know my opinions. I don't have to go into it because I've talked about it multiple times, all right? But I tweeted in a very, first of all, incorrectly worded. It was incorrectly worded to begin with. And an abridged version of that, basically trying to say, listen, guys, I know there's people who already are playing State of Decay 2 way early, before anyone else can even get the game. It's not fair to all of us, right, that these people get preferential treatment and literally are doing this on Twitch and getting crazy amounts of views because they're playing the game early, right? And we all know it. But I'll be playing it on Friday. I'll be buying the game, and I'll be giving you my honest opinions, which you guys cherish.
All right, let me cut in real quick. Let's see. What does this say? The bottom line is, all right, you're a miserable, bitter, jealous piece of garbage who shits on everyone who's more successful than you. Grow up. P.S. You're also still a shell. That's funny. That's from DS Snort Burp. That's actually pretty funny. That's a pretty funny message. All right, so first things first. Let's let's go ahead and dissect this a little bit. So it's unfair for people to get early access copies so they can stream it early and get tons of views. It's not fair to the collective group. How come no one else is complaining, Phil? Or how come it's not? How come there isn't a movement rallying behind you on this? If that's the case, if you can answer me that, I'd appreciate it. Because if the people who do get early copies and everything are shills, then what are the people? Then what do you call the people who aren't speaking up on it? Who really feel a certain type of way about it and won't say anything? What do you have to say about those people? Next thing, you've benefited from the very same system. That preferential treatment, those elite. I don't know if you were never elite, but you have a huge number of people on YouTube, so you have benefited from the same protocol that they are now. Now, I don't want to hear any of this situation where, oh, well, Phil didn't take advantage of it, and he said that he's really one of us, and this, that, and the third. I already know that, and that's fair enough, but that doesn't mean that he still didn't benefit from that. He still got a game free. He didn't put his money down for it. It was given to him. He's broken Street Date before. There are times where he got advanced copy of games and played them early. I don't see him bringing that stuff up. Well, then again, I'm not giving him a chance to do that yet. I would assume that it'll come up sooner than later. But he's done it too. So does that not make him a hypocrite then? You can't sit there and bash the very system that at one time or another you benefited from. That makes no sense. The thing is a king, what they say in Prometheus, a king has their reign. Well, I don't want to use that exact quote because no one's wishing death on Phil. But Phil had his reign. He didn't even have a reign. Fuck that. He had a run. Phil had his run and it fell off. Just like it's going to happen to most of us. Myself before anybody else. I had a run and eventually it's going to fall off. It is what it is. Same thing with Phil. He had a run and it could have turned into a reign if he could have conducted himself better, if he could have appreciated the people around him. And if he tried to, instead of trying to relate to you guys as, oh, I'm the average gamer, this, that, and the third, you guys don't come to him to hear that garbage. You come to him to see him play the goddamn game early, or play the game. That's it. He doesn't have to inject his personal morals into the situation. People come to him to see him play the newest games as quickly as possible. Then play the damn game. But see, Phil wanted to throw his philosophy and all this behind it. You know what I mean? Like he's Socrates or something like that. And it just exposed who he was as a person. And it exposed, as that stream comment said, his bitterness, his resentfulness, and so on and so forth. It's no different now. There's a new group of people who've come through and have their chance to make their mark. Just like you did once. Whether you chose to take advantage of that fully or not on all occasions is obviously, it is what that is. But you have benefited from it before. Whether it was one time or 100 times, you still benefited from it. So you have no right to throw shade on somebody else. Especially given your current situation. Financially as well as otherwise. Which is the only reason why you're bitter about the situation. Because if this was if you were 2011 DSP in 2018, you wouldn't care. But you only care because you're in a bad spot. You only care and you only want to put yourself into the category of the rest of us gamers and whatnot because you're in a bad spot and you need leverage. Period. Ask him that next time you guys are on stream and see what he says to you then. If he was in a better situation, would he really have something to say? If he had more stream attendance and more subs, would he say the exact same thing? And keep in mind, that's his own fault too. No one told him to quit streaming all those years ago. He should have stuck in there and dealt with it. He didn't even have to do it every day. He could just done it a couple times a week. And it would still help build him a following. There are streamers in the detractor community who, they don't stream every day, but they stream a couple days a week, and slowly but surely their audiences are growing. He is a lot like Wings of Redemption in the fact that you oversaturate yourselves. Your fan base isn't going to go nuts if you take an extra day off a week. Instead of you streaming 6 days, just stream 5. Why do you think stream attendance drops off after the first stream? After the first stream, people are kind of done for the day. Some people might return back, some don't. Hell, Swaggins doesn't even show up for both streams every day. Or he certainly isn't on time for both of them. It is what it is. Swaggins, in a lot of ways, actually shows up at the times of either least resistance or when he expects the most drama so he can ban people. And you can take that to the bank. Just my opinion, though.
Because I buy the games, play them on release day, and I give you my valid and genuine opinions then, rather than getting a early copy, and now everyone's hype about the game because the game's early and you're seeing it early, right? That's really kind of the full tweet that I wish I could have said. But even then, just saying that, if you don't know my full opinion on pre-release copies, you still wouldn't understand it. You know, when I was tweeting that, I meant nothing about journalists or anything like that at all. But reading the stupid tweet I put out, that's what it sounded like.
But haven't you also said that there is no need for game journalists and whatnot, and it's unnecessary? Yet you read reviews on games that you end up hyping up. Just saying, you've thrown shots at journalists too, and people who get review copies. Just saying, you've done that too.
Sounds like I was saying journalists who get early copies, are shills, and everyone, it just was a terrible, terrible fucking tweet. It was really stupid. And, the bottom line is, if it were a normal work day, I would have tweeted that, and immediately when I started seeing negative response, I would have said, "Oh shit, why did I tweet that?" And I would have deleted it immediately.
No, you wouldn't. You would have done what you did with this one. You would have fought it for a little bit first before you made that apology. Which is what he did at first. He sat there and threw a couple tweets out saying, "You guys are taking everything I'm saying out of conduct. Stop being idiots. This, that, and the third." And then the wave got bigger and bigger, and he realized that he couldn't fight it. And instead of using it, and even though some people believe, if you're a Kardashian, for example, you believe bad publicity is good publicity. For Phil, you'll never be popular. I doubt that. I'm still one of the firm believers to say that you never were. You never were popular, to be honest. You were just there at a time when this was kind of all being formed and whatnot. You didn't build anything. You were just one of the people who were there. End of the day, you know what I mean? That's it. That's why you can't really get any looks on YouTube, because there are tens of thousands of people who do what you do. You know what I'm saying? There's a 10-year-old somewhere on YouTube who's getting 250,000 views that I've never heard of. You know what I mean? There are let me give you a really good example. At the Call of Duty Black Ops 4 event that they had yesterday, which I reserve my opinions on Black Ops 4 at the moment. I want to see more. I need to know more. But I can understand why it's getting the hate that it is. It really looks like Black Ops 3 that was just downscaled to Black Ops 2. That's all I have to say for it right now, to be honest. But when they were panning through the audience, there were some YouTubers that I knew. There were some of them that I had never seen before. And I had to look them up. Most of those people that were in the front and probably in the middle rows, in the middle slot, and this is when they were panning over for zombies. Most of those guys there, or most of these kids here, to be honest with you, most of those kids there who are like somewhere between the ages of like 12 and 15 have like 2 million subscribers per channel and whatnot. And I've never heard of them before. I was watching Mr. Waffles and some of these other guys and whatnot, and I was like, oh, well, I really like their content. And in truth, there's somebody else out in the wings on the true darker side of YouTube who's really getting money, and I just never heard of them. That's how vast YouTube is the example that I'm trying to make, the point that I'm trying to make, Phil. You had your time, and that was it. You were going to what's happening to you now was inevitable. Eventually, it was always going to happen this way. You were always going to fall. There's just too many people in the pool. It's not even a pool anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of just an ocean of bodies, and there's very little water for any of you. Just saying. Even if the search engine situation didn't screw you over, you might have actually made your 1,000 views a video, but you wouldn't be making 5. You wouldn't be making 10, 15, 20, which is why you need detractors, Phil, because detractors breathe life into you. Come on, Phil, you throw the thumbs down on my videos a lot. Go through my comment section. Plenty of people say it. You know what I'm saying? It's detractors who breathe life into you. It's what keeps you alive, and you know that, and you hate it. But you have to accept it. DSP News.
But it just so happened it was a day that I was off, right? So I wasn't checking social media or anything. I wasn't checking Twitter. I wasn't, doing any of that stuff. And then I come back 6+ hours later, and the internet has exploded on Twitter about this. I'm like, what the holy hell did I do? I had to go back and read my tweet. I was like, what the fuck did I say here? Boy, this was stupid. Okay? So, it sucks. It basically sucks that I did it. But what can you, like I said, what can you do? You can't turn time. It was a perfect storm of bullshit. It was me being a moron. It was me being a moron on a day when I wasn't going to go back to check my moronic mistake and get rid of it, before it blew up. On a normal day, it certainly wouldn't have ever blown up. But it's just the perfect storm of bullshit. And I do want to apologize to any of you, all right, who maybe, were negatively affected by this, especially if you're a fan of mine, and now for an entire day, if you were following me on Twitter, all you saw was negative shit. I apologize for that. That's my fault. I man up, and I fully accept that. That tweet was not accurately representative of any of my true opinions on anything. It was poorly worded. It was poorly timed. It was poor. It was stupid. So there you go. I assumed that people who were reading the tweet were basically my biggest fans, all right, and they were going to be understanding because they already knew the full situation. They already knew the fact that I had this opinion, and they knew that what my opinion was. And all I was trying to do was very briefly reiterate that opinion and say, all right, guys, get hyped, because even though the game's basically being spoiled all over the internet already, I'll be playing it on Friday. And instead of doing that, I said it in the stupidest possible way, and I apologize. So there you go. Okay. What the heck? Oh my god. Pinkdom just said it was an early access tweet. Anyone talking smack about it won't get review copies of Phil's tweets in the future. Oh my god. Shady Sands 89 said, cheered 100 bits. Thank you for the cheer. He says, have you been told that Twitch are looking into your streaming abilities? I hope everything's okay. He's basically asking, because I've referenced several times on this pre-stream, that my schedule that I'm telling you is only if I can keep streaming. Listen, I have not been told anything. All right. The bottom line is,
they don't have to tell you anything though. Your first two bans are an example of that.
So many people report me for shit every single day here on Twitch. So many that you never know at any moment.
And see, he tried to hide behind that the first time he got banned, where he was like, or suspended, whatever, where he was like, oh, so many people do it that you guys aren't going to get rid of me. I did a video on that too, but I ended up vaulting it, but for whatever reason. But he did a video where he was like, you guys are wasting your time doing this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? You're just making me more and more immune to it. It's not about the quantity, Phil. It's about the quality. And see, the thing is bigger streamers now have your scent. And that's what your real problem is. You're not seeing what the end game is. I'll tell you at the end. So you're going to have to watch the video all the way to the end, Phil. You know what I'm saying? For everybody else who's been here, you kind of understand where I'm going with this. But at the end, Phil, I'll tell you what your real problem is. But it's not about the quantity. It's the quality. It's the quality of the complaints and of the concerns is what's going to get you in the end.
I could be hit for something that happened weeks ago. I could be hit for this tweet that happened 2 days ago. I thought, the stream would end up being, if it was going to be shut down, it would probably be shut down before we got to today. That, if this tweet was seen as such an egregious thing that I did, a horrendous, terrible, horrible act from a horrible, terrible man, right? If this really was, that Twitch would have got together and said, all right, let's just, let's shut down the streaming capabilities and that's it for Phil. That hasn't happened yet. I haven't been contacted by them at all. There's been situations where sometimes I thought maybe things would be held against me and they weren't. And of course, sometimes I've been blindsided by things that I'm like, wow, really? So I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to just basically progress business as usual, be positive on the streams like I always am, and try to have fun with you guys.
That's funny.
And whatever happens, happens. I have no control over it. I can't affect it. At any moment, guys, if you see the stream stop working, that's probably what happened,
Here's the thing about that too, right? Like, let's talk about briefly on why he feels the way he does. Whoever it is that he has as a contact, I feel like Phil's reached out to them, or they've reached out to him, and they were like, "Hey, man, we'll see what we can do, but this doesn't look good." I'm not saying that they said that they were going to suspend him or anything, but they were probably like, "You really can't afford to be doing this consistently like he does. He's always doing something stupid, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on whatever." And here's the funny thing, Phil. I had done a video, and I don't know if it was Theo or someone else who had done a video also that was talking about in Twitch's terms of service that they would be monitoring what their Twitch partners do on other platforms, including Twitter. You knew this. You knew this. And that's why Phil's worried, in my personal opinion. For somewhere down the line, once the gin wore off, he started to realize, oh shit, they're monitoring me on social media. And that's why he thinks that's why he thinks that's a suspension or a ban is coming down the pipe. That's why he thinks that. Now, instead of thinking beforehand before he did the tweet and just ignored all of it and just stayed on his couch or whipping Cat in the backyard to have her dig up the moat a little deeper or whatever the case may be and whatnot. That's a joke. It's a terrible joke, by the way, but it's a joke. He should have done something else instead of worrying about what's going on online. And he screwed the pooch yet again. So now, I would assume moving forward, he's going to be extra conservative, but at the same time, you heard it out of his own mouth. There were times that I thought I would be suspended or I thought I'd get slapped for something that I did and I didn't, and then I've been blindsided. You've never been blindsided. What was going to come down, what you were going to get hit with was going to hit you. You knew it. You just try to play off like it wasn't. But yet again, it comes from the it's one of these strange situations that kind of swarms around Phil, where he's able to dodge bullets that he shouldn't be dodging. You know what I mean? He walks away with grazes when they should be some hard blows to him. Not killing blows, but it should be a hard blow. And somehow he keeps dodging them for whatever reason. And all that does is enable his behavior. So now, at 36 years old, he's going to try to curve it, but it's too late.
I'll let you know if it's an internet blip or if I'm off Twitch. I don't know. And like I said, I want to stay here. I love being here. I love being with you guys positively every day. I would hope that one really, really stupid tweet that I made wouldn't, jeopardize and end that capability. But that's life, I guess.
But you already have 2 suspensions, though. A third one wouldn't look good, especially after they keep giving you all these chances.
It sucks when shit like this happens. That we're all fallible humans and I make stupid mistakes, and I've already apologized to you for that. I certainly hope that I don't lose my streaming capabilities here on Twitch again, but it could happen. At any moment's notice, it could be taken away. Same thing with YouTube too, by the way. At any moment's notice, YouTube could just say, well, we've decided that you violate copyright or you've done this that's not in agreement with this policy and goodbye, and shut down your YouTube channel. It's always been like this in the 10 years that I've done, content creation. This is not...
What's the point of killing a dead channel, though? You don't have any perks. You know what I mean? Who's he with? You're with Curse, yeah? You're not a partner with Curse. You're a worker. And whatever little money that you make, they're going to get their cut regardless. There's no reason. And for YouTube, you're just another one of these guys who was something for a little while. And now you're just bitching and complaining about dumb shit. They don't even care. They don't even notice you. It is what it is. You know what I mean? You've already put yourself on this platform or on this pedestal that Twitch is your way to go. And that's why, for whatever reason, you keep finding ways to screw that up for yourself. No one cares about YouTube, even when you come back. You know what I mean? Even when he inevitably will come back to YouTube after Twitch leaves him in the damn dust. No one's gonna care. Because you have no power here. You know what I'm saying? You gotta understand, and that's what scares Phil more than anything. Phil is scared of going back to YouTube the same way that he's scared to go back to Connecticut. Period. It sums it up right then and there. Or at least in my opinion. He knows there's nothing here for him. And that 47, 48,000, 46,000 that he had made last year, I'm sure it's dwindling this year. You know what I mean? And he knows it. So as long as he keeps hugging on the Twitch's nuts, you know, he'll get targeted. But at the end of the day, nobody hurts Phil more than Phil. And he's still just not smart enough to realize that. And to be honest, he won't until he loses everything. I'm not praying for him to lose everything. You know, don't get me wrong. I'm not praying for that. But it's the only way he'll learn. It's the only way people like him usually learn. He has to hit rock bottom before he realizes it. And I'm sure that's an opinion that people have held years before me. And some people will still have it years afterwards. As long as he keeps limping along, it's never his fault. I mean, he's admitted a lot here, but he has no choice. You know what I mean? The mob of public opinions weigh against him. Even the people who try to fight the good fight for him got shut down super early. Super early, they got shut down. So, I mean, they couldn't fight anymore for him. It is what it is. He is on the SS. He is on the SS Dave, and it's been sinking. And he's been fortunate enough that he has a life preserver and he has his own boat. What he doesn't realize is the spare boat that he has a hole in it too. He hasn't tested it yet though, and he hasn't tried to patch it up or anything like that because he thinks it'll be ready and waiting for him when he gets to it. He's gonna find out the hard way. That's why he doesn't have a backup plan. That's why he doesn't have any money in savings. That's why he doesn't have anything set up for retirement. How you've been doing something for 10 years and have nothing put away from it? You're telling me that Phil couldn't put a couple of $1,000s away each year? Just in case shit happens? Alright. But yet you guys want to call people out like me, say I'm an asshole. Because of what? Because I call him out on dumb shit and I give him good advice? And say that for someone who's 36 years old, it's a damn shame that he has nothing put away for himself? Alright.
Anything new. It just sucks that now we're in a position where, you know, my streams are good, people are enjoying them, they're coming out, they're having tons of fun. I've got people who come here and hang out and feel like this is an awesome space.
When not getting banned.
Right. It sucks. That might go away now because of a stupid thing that I did, you know. It is what it is. Mr. Lark did a 100-bit cheer. And he says, Phil, ignorance is bliss. Not everyone is always going to like you. That is certainly true. Alright. That is certainly true. You're absolutely true. Yes, not everyone is always going to like me. However, it would be nice if... The one thing that I think is very sad is that I have a 10-year legacy. 10 years I've been covering games. And let's face it, I made many mistakes during that time period. And if you watch my evolution over the last decade that I put out videos, boy, have I changed. Boy, has the kind of things that I say and do in my videos changed. You know, I've become a much more intelligent, wise, educated, and what's the word I'm looking for? Mature. Even though, yeah, I'm immature in a lot of ways still. I openly admit that. I've matured in a lot of ways too. Okay. Like I said,
and that's why people get banned off your streams for saying gout, Tevin. Actually, there's not too many words that are in my vocabulary that I use for your streams, Phil, or that I use for these videos. At least the ones that you understand, anyway. That people don't get banned for. So how mature are you? Someone who's mature would let shit slide. Like, you know what I'm saying? They don't spend easily 70% of their streams looking at the chat, which is what you do. It's not... I'm surprised Tevin hasn't made a meme for it yet. He will, though, eventually. Oh, speaking of which, Phil, just to be, I'm just gonna put this out there. How much do you want for that sealed copy of Lion King for the N64? I'm just curious. I mean, to you, you don't even remember that you have it, but I saw Tevin stream, and you do have one. It's sealed in the box. I'm not gonna pay you $100 for it, though. I'm not gonna do that. That's stupid. But you know what I'm saying? If you're interested, well, you watch my videos. You know how to get a hold of me.
One of, if not the most prolific gaming YouTuber there ever was. Okay? But no one will ever know that. Because the common person just knows all the negatives. And that's all they care about. That's all they hear. That's all they care about. And that's what's sad is, well, you're never going to have everyone like you. No, I know that. But it would certainly be nice if at least people had the facts. Like,
having the facts still doesn't help you. First things first. Nobody should be doing... No one should ever expect anybody to like you. And it's not just in the United States, it's just anywhere. Someone will always find a reason not to like you, for whatever reason. You just got to live with that. That's just part of moving on. You treat people how you want to be treated, and end the story. If they still want to be assholes, then they want to be assholes. You let it go and you keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? But you should never expect that every person you meet or every person who hears your voice or whatever the case may be will like you. There's the first thing. Second thing, as it pertains to the facts are ugly, Phil. The facts are really, really bad. You know what I'm saying? And there is so much negativity that it completely outshines anything that you might have done remotely to the term of being good. Period. You can't escape that. So you might as well just go ahead and leave that alone. You don't, matter of fact, Phil, you don't want people getting the facts. You don't want people to really dig deep on you and actually see what's really there. Because to be honest with you, it would make you look worse than you already do. Third thing, the amount of time that you're anywhere doesn't mean shit. This isn't about seniority. YouTube doesn't have a retirement fund for you. Neither did Machinima, apparently. How much time you were on the internet doesn't mean anything to anybody but you. Just like your 4th place finish at EVO in 2005, I think it was. No one gives a shit about that but you. The #1 ranked US player doesn't mean shit to no one but you. Everybody else looks at it like it's a goddamn joke. You want to know why, Phil? Because if you ain't #1, it don't mean shit. Period. It's the end of it. There is no... I'm sorry, Phil. They weren't passing out little gold trophies for participation at EVO. They don't do that, last time I checked. Well, I guess they give medals now for top 8. But that was back then. Or, well, that's now, though. They handle shit with kids' gloves sometimes now. But back then, it didn't matter. If you weren't first, then you weren't anything. So for you to sit there and grab onto, oh, I was the #1 ranked US player, doesn't mean shit. And that's why you got ridiculed for it. You being on YouTube for 10 years and having nothing to show for it but 2 mortgages, and a car. Well, you one time had the leasing of a car that you never did any work on, which I'm surprised it didn't go down on you. You have debt, back taxes, and this, that, and the third. You lost all your friends. You know what I mean? Your family's damn near non-existent unless you need money or something. That's what your 10-year legacy is, essentially. You sat there and you played games, you treated people like shit, you didn't know how to act, and now at 10 years, you are on the internet begging people for money. That's your legacy. Your legacy isn't the fact that you were on YouTube for 10 years. It's not your 4th place finish at EVO. It's the fact that you were on YouTube, you had all these opportunities, you had all these chances, you either didn't understand what you were given or what was being presented to you, or you thought you were too good for it. And now look at you. Now you're on stream, day in, day out, begging for pennies. Asking people who don't even pay taxes yet to help you pay your taxes. You got kids getting grounded because they're stealing their mother's credit cards so they can donate to you. Or in one case, you had one kid that was asking other people if they would do donations on his behalf. That's what your legacy is going to be. You had all the opportunities in the world. You had all the second, third, fourth, and fifth chances that could be ever asked for from anybody. And somehow you still screwed it all up. And yet you still feel like none of it was your fault. And you still feel like you're on top and you're the man. Or that you deserve another chance. And that you'll do better. But you won't. History's proven that. It's not about being popular, Phil. You're infamous. And you got to live with that.
You have no idea.
DSP News.
You know, what I went through. Well, I said what I went through. Didn't really go through because I didn't read all these tweets. I mean, a ridiculous amount of tweets, negative stuff thrown my way over the past 2 days, of course.
Excuse me.
But the insane amount of misinformation, just insanity. All the crap you guys have heard for years, that's completely untrue, just basically blew up again. Well, don't worry about his stupid tweet, because that's that pedophile. That's that guy that masturbated twice in front of thousands of children on Twitch TV. What? When did any of this happen? None of this is true, but this is all fact now. In the minds of the...
Well, with that being said, and Tevin's right, I don't think you really know what a pedophile is. I really don't think you know what a pedophile is, Phil. You should really look up the definition. Phil, most people brought up, and rightfully so, your racism, certainly the jacking off on stream, and essentially the constant and consistent missteps that you keep making on YouTube and Twitch. And all those things are true. You can't escape any of those things. That's what was really brought up for the most part. The majority of tweets that I got a chance to see. I didn't read all of them, obviously. But that was the main, cutaway from what I grasped from it. And all that's true. There you go. And people brought up, especially, a lot of those clips of you running around calling people in your chat dumbasses, assholes, this, that, and the third. And the last thing that you really want, Phil, is people to start getting clips of that whole war dog leader situation to get sent around. You definitely don't want that. You definitely don't want any of the bigger people to see that nonsense. Because you can't escape that. Especially not the lie that you decided to pull after that. I'll say, you should count your blessings when it comes to that situation. Your memory might be short, but for everybody else, there's DSP News.
Ignorant people who want to propagate drama, this is fact. This is all fact about me. It would be nice if you're going to call me out for the stupid shit I've done. That tweet, okay, fair enough. That tweet was really fucking dumb, and I wholeheartedly agree with you. But the stuff that then people bring up afterward to gang and dogpile on, right, that's what I wish would kind of go away. But it's not gonna. It's not gonna go away. It's not. It's gonna continue on. It's gonna be worse and worse. Basically, I've become the legendary tall tale of the worst gamer on the planet, the worst guy on the internet, when in reality, none of it's true. And it's all just propagated by people who love negative, immature shit, And it's sad. It's sad that right now there's actually people with giant followings on YouTube and Twitch who think that stuff is true. Because they didn't do 2 seconds of research. Instead, they just repeat the drama, But it is what it is. That's life, I guess. That will be me for the rest of my life. There's not much I can do about it, right? Unless I move to...
Wait a second. You make a stupid tweet, and then people should go and do research to try to justify your tweet? To justify you're not the bad person you say you are? I'm sorry, did you forget where you're at? You're on the internet. People judge you generally at face value. Did you forget how that works? And yet again, you don't want people to be going... Phil, you're an idiot. You don't want people to go back and look at your past misdeeds. You really don't. You really, really don't. I'm trying to save you here.
I guess if I move to like Zimbabwe and I live in a grass hut somewhere where there's no internet, maybe then I'll be immune to it. But I doubt that's ever going to happen. So, all right. Shout out to All I Guy. Cheered again. He says, "Do you have an idea why your tweet blew up? In my opinion, it wasn't bad enough to garner hundreds of responses. I have no idea. I'm sure what ended up happening was, as usual, whenever I do something stupid, the certain group of people who stalk me across the internet to find me doing something stupid probably gave it to appropriate parties, and more than likely they threw it towards certain Twitch streamers who maybe had been playing, or not even just Twitch, because I think people were playing on YouTube too. So certain people who were streaming the game early, they probably threw it their way, and one of them probably took it as a negative. Oh my God, how dare this person insult me, and probably tweeted, and then it just blew up from there. Sometimes they go viral, sometimes they don't. It's like I said, that it's weird because I'm a person who has 10 years of stuff on the internet, right? 10 years, and tons of it is positive, but all people remember are the boneheaded moments and the negative shit. So, here's another moment where one person, got rubbed the wrong way of a tweet that I did that was stupid, and shared it probably with a bunch of people, and then it just went viral, and what are you going to do, right? That's my fault. Again, I should have been wiser and known that putting a stupid tweet out there like that was a dumb idea, and, I should have, read it and said, well, this is a tweet just for my fans, and they're going to understand what I'm saying, because I've already fleshed out my opinions on this subject on my streams, so here's a super badly worded, abridged version just to throw it out there and hype up my Friday stream. That was really fucking stupid. Really stupid. Okay.
Riveting.
All right. But no, in particular, Ally Guy, do I actually know the story behind it? No, I don't. And the bottom line is I don't care. Who cares?
You should, because you're going to do it again. And I've already said that, so I won't keep beating the dead horse on that, no pun intended. But you should care. At the end of the day, you should care.
I don't. You shouldn't either. It's beating a dead horse at this point, right? Spooky Fam resubbed for the third month in a row. He says, it's none of your business. If a company decides to give early access to someone, you need to do what you like and not complain that someone else does what they like. Well, bottom line was I wasn't complaining that someone was doing something they like. In fact, it's quite the opposite. But again, I'm not going to get into it. My full thoughts on early access stuff have already been fleshed out. There's no reason for me to go into them yet again. Those of you who watch my streams know my full thoughts that were much more intelligent than my stupid tweet, and there's no reason for me to waste time right now on it, especially seeing how long this pre-stream has been. But I do thank you, Spooky Fan, for your 3 months of support. The Lollipop Cheers. Aren't you friends with Twitch people? You talk to them about it, or am I wrong? I'm not really friends with anyone when it comes to this kind of stuff. As I've said many, many times over the years, I'm pretty much an island. I always have been. I don't have like a group of buddies on YouTube or a group of friends who stream. I mean, do I every once in a while have positive interactions with other people? Sure. But I, every single day, wake up, work my butt off all day, right? And that's it. I don't have time. Like I said, when I'm away from streaming or recording, one or the other.
You don't have time to reach out to people in your community? You don't have time to reach out to your peers just to say hello? Hey, how you doing? You don't have time to go into someone else's stream chat and be like, hey, how you doing? Yet you have time to feed into the negativity and go to detractor videos and go to alleged detractor websites. You have time to do that. But you don't have time to reach out to your peers, to people who would probably be willing to help you. I don't know about now, but people who would be willing to help you, who you could actually learn something from. Well, you can learn a lot from the detractors in general, but still, you know what I mean? But you don't have time. What is it that makes you so damn busy? To be honest, I really want to know. What makes you so damn busy that you can't reach out to somebody else? If your time were so valuable, I would think you would use it better. And you seem to be failing at that too.
And I'm not uploading or whatever. I'm doing other stuff. I'm trying to spend time with my girl. I'm trying to maybe watch some television or basically do everything possible to stay away from gaming, to stay away from Twitch and YouTube. Because if all it was, my entire life was encompassed with that shit, I would hate it.
That shit? Yeah, it's not, he really likes it. He really sounds like he loves gaming people. That's what that sounds like right there. That's what that sounds like right there. That's the real gamer there for you, who's standing up for your rights. That you're standing up for your rights on how you can't get early copies, but a select few does, even though he doesn't play games unless he's getting paid for it. Yeah, real gamer, all right. Calling people shills when he hypes up games and then gets mad because the game is terrible. Every game he plays is for profit. He doesn't play anything for free. But yet these other people are shills. Okay. Gotcha.
Can't have my entire life be encompassed by my work. I have to have other endeavors and other things I like so that when I go back to the work, it's refreshing. Not that work, 100% of the time. I would hate it. So no, I purposely don't have a bunch of friends who are Twitch streamers and a bunch of friends who are YouTubers. And
you don't have to talk to them about Twitch or YouTube though. I talk to people on Twitter and we don't always talk about DSP shit. We talk about random stuff. It is what it is. You don't have to talk about what your, and I use this term loosely, your profession. You can talk to them about anything. All right.
Realize that's very different. You got these groups and communities out there. They all look at.
Tell me something though, Phil. When you used to chill with Robert and with Howard and Rambo, was it always about YouTube? Was it always about tournaments, or did you guys actually talk about other stuff? Maybe life ambitions, anything like that? I'm curious because I could see how every time they try to reach out to you after you moved, all you want to do is talk about YouTube stuff. And I could see how something like that would come across as discouraging, first off, and a bit annoying. Food for thought.
After each other, they got each other's back or whatever. I've never had that. Again, I've always said I'm kind of an island. I'm out there on my own, and everything else goes around me, and I'm the one island out there that still exists after 10 years. And somehow the climate change and the global warming and the ice caps melting haven't sunk the island yet. Perhaps the shores have receded a bit, but I'm still there. Wow, what a dramatic analogy that was. Okay then. Shout out to M. Lark, who cheered again. He says, damage control isn't the solution. Actions speak louder than words. Well, you're right. It doesn't matter how many times I say that tweet was stupid. Okay? If I do another stupid tweet right away, then it doesn't really matter, does it? So what I got to do, like I said, I got to be better. What I need to do is use Twitter for business purposes and basically stay as concise and to the point and talk about my stuff only and not keep veering off the track. Okay? Just being real talk here.
But you can't do that. And which is yet again your problem. You're not a gamer, Phil. You're a professional shit talker. Not a good one though, but you're a professional shit talker. You're someone who wants to say what's on his or her mind without really any repercussions. That's what you are. And that's how you always handle Twitter. And now all of a sudden you want to take a more professional approach? Because of what? The more you restrict yourself, the more you put yourself in position to do it again. You don't even see it though, do you, Phil? All right.
I need to basically be better and not do stupid shit. And like I said, I even said immediately after this happened, I said I should just use Twitter for positive messages and schedule updates and work-related stuff. And instead of, let me use Twitter to talk about a controversial topic. It's really stupid. Why would I do that? But like I said, it was a stupid tweet. I got to be better. So you're absolutely right, Mr. Lark. It's one thing to apologize or backtrack or what do they call it? The mea culpa or whatever. But there's a different thing entirely to change and be better, and that's what I got to do.
You're still missing his point. To be better, you have to do better. You completely missed what that guy said. You're talking about that you need to be better. Before you can be better, you have to do better. You completely missed what that guy said. All right.
YOLO Dopper cheered again. He said, you shouldn't go so hard on yourself. You expressed your opinion, and nobody has the right to insult you for it. But YOLO Dopper, what you don't seem to understand is that
Jesus Christ. These guys really do cradle you, Phil. Jesus. They really do cradle you. They cradle you for everything that they're worth. It's funny, if you think about it in some ways, Phil's chat treats Phil like a child. A child that needs to be cuddled, that needs to be handled delicately and with a lot of care. Hence the reason why Phil does what he does. So when Phil lashes out at them, I can see why they just make a bunch of accounts and come back. And then, you know, try to be on the straight and narrow for a couple of weeks and then ask if they can have their old account back. Wow. That's amazing.
Tweet was not my opinion. That tweet was horrible. It was not even close to my full thoughts on the subject. That tweet was just plain old wrong, factually wrong, and it should never have been put out that way. That's why I'm being hard on myself, not because, oh, I have an opinion people disagree with. That's completely different from what I put. My opinion is not even what I put on Twitter. That's why I need to fess up and say I need to be better, not because my opinion is not a popular one. TechVisor cheered. He said, isn't it a bit silly to say other streamers should do a bit of research on you when you're too busy to watch other people's content? I'm sure they're busy too and just want to join in on a shitstorm. Well, okay, fair enough. But here's the thing. All right? Here's the thing.
Why did you just leave it at that, Phil? Why do you have to... It's like this last word type thing with him. He should have just left it at that. He should have been like, you know what? That's fair. And then just moved on to the next cheer. Are you trying to give him his money's worth? Like, is that what we're doing here?
So, it's easy to say, to be an armchair quarterback, I think they call it, or to be a backseat driver, or to actually be the person in that position, all right? I completely disagree with a certain practice. I disagree with anyone getting advanced games, and I think not only does it directly hurt the business in general of gaming, but it hurts the common gamer, it hurts other streamers, it hurts a bunch of people who get hurt. So I speak up against it, okay? So fair enough, right? Now, older streamers should do a bit of research on me when I'm too busy to watch other people's content. First of all, I don't need to watch a million hours of someone's content. I don't even need to watch a single second of someone else's content to understand that my belief on pre-release games, them getting games early and them getting ridiculous amounts of views, early views just because they got the game early, I don't need to watch their stream to know that. All right? I don't need to know that. I'm not criticizing their stream style. I'm not criticizing their gameplay style. I'm not criticizing anything about the content on their stream. The only thing I'm criticizing is the fact they're playing a pre-release game early, okay? They're getting it before anyone else can get it. They've been the selected privileged few, and they're getting ridiculous amounts of views just because they're playing it early. That's what I'm criticizing. So just the fact knowing they're streaming it early is enough for me to give the criticism that I'm giving. All right?
Then you can take back whatever take whatever they give you then. Fair enough. You have an opinion on the fact that they are able to get stuff early. Okay, cool. Fair enough. Fair enough. You can have your opinion. But then, yet again, it's like I slap you and then you get slapped back. Fair enough. So when someone else comes, as a few of them didn't you get early copies back in the day, Phil? You avoided, at least from what I saw, you avoided some of those. But it's true, though. That's not a lie. That wasn't something that was fabricated. So where were you at to speak up about that then? I'm just saying. I got to give Phil a little bit of credit there because he makes a good point. Keep in mind, their streaming, how they stream and their streaming style, that's all smoke and mirrors bullshit anyway. But I'll let Phil have that. But to sit there and stream and criticize their particular practice on why they were given the advantages that they were given goes back to what dude said. How much time did they put in on that game or that game franchise? Or how do they conduct themselves on stream? How do they treat the people in their stream chats? How do they conduct themselves on stream, period? I'm pretty sure they don't go up there every day looking like a slob. They go up there and they present themselves and they carry themselves well. They treat the people that are in their chat, I apologize, appropriately. They conduct themselves, as Phil would say, as decent human beings. Not someone who has all the time in the world to sit on his ass, do the bare minimum, and then throw shit on everybody else who's doing better than him. And that's what that tweet really made you look like. It made you look like some washed up has-been who sat there and complained about a practice that he himself partook in at one time or another. That's what it made you look like.
Now, for one of these people to come out and say, well, I heard Phil's a pedophile and Phil's this and that. I'm sorry, all right? That's ridiculously different than just saying, well, I heard that this streamer is playing a game early. Oh, by the way, it's factually true. You can just look on Twitch's dashboard and here they are doing it. All right? That's black and white, completely different. All right? Say
You did call them shills, though, did you not? If you want to sit there and say, oh, they had no right to take a personal attack on me, I would consider to a degree that might be fair. I would probably agree to say that. Then again, you shouldn't have called them shills. That's probably your first problem right there. You probably should have addressed it as these people who are getting these special privileges and whatnot and have these deals or whatever you want to word it. That's unfair. You couldn't do that. You had to throw an insult in there, so you got insulted back. Whether it hits you personally or not is irrelevant. Yet again, you know what I'm saying. If you're going to conduct yourself in a certain way, you're going to get slapped. You get slapped back. So you can't sit there and sling monkey shit at somebody and not expecting them to sling it back. You did yourself in on that one.
ridiculously slanderous, defamatory comments about someone.
Didn't you call them shows? I'm gonna leave that alone. I already said what I need to say about that.
Without a lick of any kind of proof is fucked up. It's completely irresponsible. It's immoral. And it's sad that there's thousands of people now on the internet who believe that stuff about me because people have spread it as fact because they didn't do the research and just reported the rumors, reported the drama, repeated the rumors, the drama, and the slander. All right? It would be one thing if the things about me that were said were things that were matter of fact. Matter of fact, all right, I put out a bad tweet. You're right. Matter of fact, you can criticize me till the cows come home about that. It was there on Twitter in black and white. I did it. Good. Criticize me for it. Tear me apart. Rip me a new bunghole. That's fair criticism. To now propagate stuff that's completely untrue because someone told you is bullshit. Okay?
Bullshit.
And that's the difference. Actual black and white evidence of something that leads to valid criticism versus I heard something. And now I'm going to repeat this really derogatory, defamatory thing about someone.
Where do I start? Where do I start? Okay. You know what? Go back to his take everything that Phil just said and go back and watch his old Dead Space 2 run. Enough said.
You know, the thing I just...
Or look up Phil's, what's it called? It's like, I think it's called the Ultimate Racist Compilation, DSP. I don't even have to say anything else.
Agree with is that people get these pre-release copies early and play them and get tons of artificial views because they get the games before...
Actually, Phil, fill me in for this for just a second. Who was that young lady that you said that was getting gangbanged at the at some publisher office, and that's the only reason why she has a job? And you said that. I know you said that. I've seen screenshots of it. What was that young lady's name again? I Justine? Yeah. And what was the name of the company that did that? Was that EA? Was that what that was, Phil? You do remember that, don't you, Phil? Go ahead, Phil. You can hit the dislike button twice. I don't know if it'll work for you, but you can try. But you did say that too, though, yeah? Uh-huh. All right, I just want to make sure.
For anyone else and profit, and it hurts the industry, in my opinion. Okay, it does. You guys already know how I think that people should be very much more patient. They shouldn't rush out to buy games on release day. Wait a day or two. We don't need these early reviews. You know all this. I'm not going to get into detail about it here, but
why does the industry need to stop for you? No one has to sit there and wait for Dark Side Phil to do a playthrough of a game. No, here's the thing, Phil, and I guess this is your 10-year legacy thing again. No one owes you an equal footing. The playing field is not leveled. Period. If you have talent, if you're entertaining, and if people like you, they'll come out and watch your stuff. If they don't, It doesn't matter if everybody got the game a day or two after you did, Phil. You would still fail. So when you were on top all those years ago, supposedly, and you had all your advantages, did you think about the little guy back then? Did you think about the little Let's Players who were trying to come up? Nah, you didn't. But now, you're an old man, can't do much of anything really, and whatnot. You need children to take care of you, to handle your business, to pay your bills, to allow you to live the lifestyle that you can't even really afford to live. You're basically complete and utterly dependent on other people's generosity. Now you want the game industry to go ahead and take a step back and let Dark Side Phil, who's been around for 10 years and has his 10-year legacy, to have 2 or 3 days to let him play the game and whatnot on equal footing with them so he can catch those early views. What was that game that you were hyping up recently, Phil, that completely bombed for you? That was God of War, yeah? That was God of War? And who did you blame that for? I mean, who did you blame on that? Your failure for that one? Oh, you blamed your fan base. Oh, you don't think he did? Oh, well, didn't he not say that, oh, well, people in my fan base, they want to play the game themselves first, and then they want to come back and watch me, and that's why the streams are doing so bad. So essentially what he's saying is he's blaming his fan base for wanting to enjoy a game instead of coming to Phil and watching him play it. He's blaming them for wanting to be real gamers and whatnot and spend their time enjoying themselves instead of giving him the view, as well as maybe some positive reinforcement, bits, cheers, subs, tips, and so on and so forth. Yeah? Okay.
That's very different than saying, oh, well, this guy's a pedophile. That's insane. And if you think it's the same thing, if you actually think that's the same thing, you are silly. So there you go. So thank you, Infinite, for the top cheer for the day. Appreciate that. And Infinite says the following. He says, hold on. Hey, Phil, good to see you back. I don't think you should be apologizing for excising your freedom of speech, even if what you said was a mistake. This tweet nonsense is a non-issue as far as I'm concerned. I disagree. I absolutely disagree. Because, not to say that what I said was even that bad, even if I did believe that what I said was factually true, which I don't, it still wouldn't have been that bad. But what if someone goes on Twitter and immediately says, I think that all people of a certain race are inferior and everyone else is superior and they should be exterminated? Well, do you think...
That's the worst example in the world, Phil. Yet again, go back to Phil's Dark Souls 2, or sorry, not Dark Souls, Dead Space 2 run, his original one, or go to the Racist compilation. Jesus Christ, Phil, you make this too easy at times. Why would you say that? Why would you use that as the example? You couldn't figure out something else?
That should go on Twitter? Of course not. That should not be allowed, and people should be held accountable and obviously be judged for that kind of a situation. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, we learned from history, that's insane, right? So, that should definitely be held again. No, people should not be able to have these insane beliefs that
Actually, doesn't that happen in that Nazi stream chat of yours quite a bit? Last time I checked? Too bad Queen Swaggins isn't on that one as hard as he usually is about people saying gout and Tevin and so on and so forth. What are you going to do? No one's perfect, right?
It's harmful to others, it shouldn't be allowed. Was what I said on Twitter harmful to others? Yeah, I think it was. I honestly think it was. Is it physically threatening? No, but we already talked about this earlier on this pre-stream. That bullying or misinformation that's on the internet can be harmful to others. And what I said was factually wrong and should be called out for. So I actually disagree with you on this point, Infinite. I think that what I did was wrong and fair game that people should step up and criticize me for doing it because it was my mistake and I need to admit mistakes and grow. Okay? It's that simple. I got an anonymous dollar tip. I'm exploding, excuse me. I got an anonymous dollar tip, and the person says, I've been a fan since you played Fable 2. You said you don't like people playing pre-release games. I recall you playing Fallout 4. Yeah, listen. As I've said many times, because again, I've addressed this a million times in the past, I'm not infallible, And there were actually, if I remember correctly, 3 distinct times in 10 years. 10 years. Hundreds upon hundreds of games that I've played. 60,000 plus videos that I put out on the internet. There were 3 games that, if I remember correctly, I played them early. One was Street Fighter Cross Tekken. One was Fallout 4. And one was Dark Souls 3.
And none of those hurt the industry? None of those didn't hurt your fellow gameplay, your fellow gamers, your peers? None of that didn't set back gaming in general? Oh, so it didn't do that then, but it does it now. When, as I stated earlier on in this video, which is already longer than it needs to be, is so saturated that people get free copies that you don't even know of, Phil. And it doesn't hurt you because you don't know. But when you did it, though, it was all good, right? It was gravy, baby. All over these onion mashed potatoes, or no, these these fully skinned mashed potatoes, and this onion with meat surrounding it. I don't know what Kat calls that dish, but it looked like onions with little bits of meat surrounding it. I don't remember that being meatloaf though. I could be wrong. Wherever she's from, maybe that's what they call meatloaf, but last time I checked, meatloaf was supposed to consist of meat. Preferably more than the onions. But whatever. But anyway, it wasn't a problem then, but it's a problem now. And that wouldn't have anything to do with your personal situation, yeah? Alright.
So on one hand, I can count the 3 times that I went against my own personal philosophy of release games for various different reasons. You know, every single one actually was a completely different reason. If at some point in the future we want to discuss this and get into massive detail about it, we can. But considering that this pre-stream is 1 hour and 42 minutes long, all right, I don't really think that we should get into the specifics of it right now. But basically every situation had a reason.
Nice dodge.
Where I had to weigh pros and cons and say, do I bite the bullet and do I go against my own personal morality and belief philosophy and do this against my own belief system for the good of what? Various things. For the good of my viewers, for the good of myself and my business, you know. And a lot of the time...
So who's to say that these people aren't doing it for those same reasons, without the philosophy aspect? And any man who would go against his own word, some would say, is no man. If this is really how you feel and you're dead set on it, then you don't break it. You don't break your word. You don't straddle the lines. You don't do shit. You stay to that to the end. Wrong or right. But you just come up with excuses. Okay.
It's what's the word I'm looking for? The lesser of two evils, I guess, right? In a lot of cases, and that's really what it was in those situations. Okay. So in that regard, you know, you're right. 3 times ever in 10 years where I went against my own personal philosophy for various reasons, you got me. Okay then. Let's get started here. Get headphones on. Again, guys, I will forewarn everybody here. All right? I don't know what's going to happen this week. I don't know what's going to happen today, tomorrow. It could happen. Sadly, if I lose my ability to stream, my apologies. I don't want to, but it is what it is. We all know the system, the way that Twitch works. At any moment, the stream could end. If it does, and it's something like that where I got, lost my ability to stream, I'll let you guys know, and we'll go from there. But I hope that nothing happens and that we could just continue on positively like we've been doing. The stream so far today, long-ass pre-stream, but at least it's been a positive one, right? So I hope we can keep that up, all right?
Alrighty. So, there we go. I don't know if I expected it to be that long, but there is certainly a lot to unwrap. In any case, you certainly caught my opinion on all that. You've definitely caught Phil's, but what do you guys think as it pertains to the situation, Phil's apology? What are your thoughts on the backlash? Do you think it's going to be a slow burn where it's something that will happen to him over time rather than them just coming out and giving him another slap on the wrist and taking him off Twitch for a week? It's obvious that he's not going to learn. So hitting him with these minor infractions doesn't really do anything. I'd like to think that Twitch already realizes that. Now the thing is, the way out is will they just go ahead and get rid of him or not? And maybe it won't be this time. Maybe they'll wait till next time. You know what I mean? They have the right to hit him with an infraction, even if it's off of their platform, because they do monitor their partners on other platforms, because their partners are an extension of them. You'll have to wait and see on that. As for Phil, directly, you are the source of your own demise in a way that no one could ever be. And I hope one day you actually understand that at the end of the day, everything that's essentially happened to you, well, not everything, but most of what's happened to you is of your own doing. And you didn't make it any, you didn't do yourself any favors. You really didn't. And I'm actually, I wouldn't necessarily, I would say I'm surprised that you didn't try to blame others for the situation. You kind of did, because you said that, oh, well, you know, what happened was they took my tweet and they passed it on to all these other people, and that's how it turned into the shitstorm it was. In any case, you're the one who still said it. And if you know that you have people watching you to such a degree, why do you continue to do stupid shit? And you recognize it as stupid shit because you've said it. And now you're trying to, you don't even realize how this works. And now you're trying to change your very behavior to match up to essentially what other people think of you. You're essentially a Rubik's Cube. And all of us essentially, and basically, I would say just about everybody online is just taking turns and matching up colors, and we just kind of pass it around. And you don't even, and I remember Theo, I think, said this once, that you're in a box and you don't even realize the manipulation. Because every time you have to make adjustments and whatnot, every time you do a situation, you get called out, you make adjustments, and then a detractor has to come in and make some realignments. And so you really have very little control of your own life in a lot of ways. You're a prisoner to yourself. And it's control that you've relinquished. And you don't even realize it. So now the only power that you really have is on Twitch. And even that's diminishing. Shame, shame, shame. But we'll just wait for the next situation. Trust me, it shouldn't take long. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG network and productions. I am your host / anchor, GTG, and I am signing off. End of broadcast.